Yeah, it's one of those days. Okay, how's it? I'm Christo, and yeah, when you know the drill, like, subscribe, share. Yeah, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm a little bit disturbed now. I just got a call from some debt company that wants to offer me a personal loan, and I'm thinking, with the world as it is, how do you take on personal loans? Uh, it actually sounds incredibly dangerous, and it's serving someone else's ego. But okay, let me try and get myself back on track. Okay, so yeah, like the call, our world's gone to shit. Okay, people need bucks. Okay, they need to actually sacrifice their current potential, so it's in the hope that they can convert it and pay it back. Otherwise, maybe they're gonna lose something. Okay, and that's crazy. Okay, so I stared at my diamond for 18 years, thinking that politics, economics, physical environment, and social was in service of society, the greater good, humanity at large. And then by default, COVID happened. Yeah, I don't know how COVID happened. There's all sorts of theories between wet, wet markets and pendulums and bats and lab leaks. And you don't know something? I think it was inevitable. We've been pushing our environment to such a degree with regard to political war, economic recession, uh, global warming and climate change. Okay, to a degree, a lot of that can be in the natural cycle of the earth and how it tilts and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, we put pollution out there that is going to cause change. Because guess what? The environment, nature will win. We are part of it. But we've removed ourselves so badly from nature that we're... Okay, excuse me. And then we've got social issues. And the worst is when we watch the news, no one puts the picture together. So we think linearly and we see it linearly. And that's maybe my hope for the diamond is that we can actually just change how we think. Simon Sinek speaks about you got to know your why. And his whole thing is about, why do you want to do something? For the man on my left, the man on my right. My family. That's why I do stuff. What is easy? There's a lot of what. We've got technology, we've got social issues, we've got brain hemispheres, we've got neurosciences, we've got education, law, medicine, religion. It's all out there. That's all what. But how? That's maybe what I stand for. Is how do you think? Do you think in a diamond process synergized model? Because if you're working in synergy, in synthesis, you can actually see, watch a news report and put the whole picture together immediately. But how we're thinking, if we keep going with how we're currently thinking, we've been thinking like this for 6,000 years, and believe me, there are great books like this one. It's by a guy called Jared Diamond, and it's called Collapse for a reason. He's an anthropologist. He goes and he basically looked at ancient civilizations, they rise and they fall. Why did they collapse? And in essence, there are only 5 reasons for collapse. Okay. Change of environment or damage to the environment. We've got enough damage to our environment between electricity stacks and burning our waste and dumping trash, non-biodegradable stuff. We've stuffed that up completely. We're damaging our environment. Okay? Climate can change. There are levels of change that can happen. But, so let's put it this way, even if you're just living in a great area and suddenly you have a 5-year drought, that puts strain on the whole system. I'm not talking global climate change, I'm just talking regional climate change. High pressures, low pressures. And then it's enemies. Well, guess what? If you look at Russia, Ukraine, believe me, there's no trade at the moment. Europe's going into a crisis. Not that I think the Russians are actually enemies of Europe, but they actually, I'm not going into the politics. I don't go into what. But the thing is, that's what it is. Enemies can put pressure on your systems and cause you to collapse. Friends can cause you to collapse. Right now, I am friends with a baker down the road. But I've got to put more money into diesel and fuel, so I can't buy as many breads as I used to. We're still friends, but I can't support him. I can't support his business. It's crazy. So friends, it's like, okay, Jared Diamond uses the Polynesian islands. Islands were trading between each other. And then suddenly one island figured out, hang on, we can make our own eggs, we can grow our own chickens. And we don't need that island for trade. So guess what? The other island isn't trading. They can't understand why the canoes aren't rocking up. And voila, they're still friends. But it's economics. If I can do it myself at home, much easier. And then our inability to adapt. That's the fifth reason for collapse. And it's very funny, actually. Our inability to adapt. If we can't change fast enough. Right now, our world is in serious, serious peril. We are aiming for a collapse. Why? Because we're thinking, it's how we're thinking, is serving someone else's ego. Now, originally the ego was the king or the queen or the monarch of the day. And with that, he had his band of friends and they colonized and they went around and they exploited countries. Then people started disliking, oh no, we don't like a king. So they swapped kingship for corporations. So now the corporation basically pays and lobbies the political system so legislation can be pushed in their favor. It's crazy, okay? And all of this is serving someone's ego. And it's not even my ego, it's not even your ego, it's a collective ego, because guess what? Probably we voted them in. Just for a hello, wake up call, it's our fault. Okay, now it gets a little bit more crazy. Because what I'm saying is, if we change how we think, we can actually return to center. And this is where the diamonds started changing in 2000 and in 2020. So I realized there was this ego concept and we're serving ego. And that ego is going to kill us. But if we flick a diamond over and we aim for a point of love, a point of becoming, a point of heart, then something is a little bit different. And with that, we actually nullify the ego spectrum. Now, we are souls having a human, earthly experience. And it's actually very beautiful, because now as soon as we turn our diamond over and we start serving to heart center, and then we get into the awarenesses, or the 4A's, the awareness, anticipation, accountability, and adaptability, we actually build ourselves. And that is being human, is the hourglass, are these two diamonds. So it's basically three-dimensional here. So it's 2D. I'm going to say two-dimensional, serving someone else's ego. Then don't flick it up. Same actions, just I'm serving my family, I'm serving a point of becoming, a point of appreciation, a point of love. And from love, we can get peace and we can get joy. And no one's going to pick a fight. You may not love. That's bullshit. Okay, so we get from heart center. But now the biggest flaw here is, because of all this crap down here with the ego, we miss the plot. And now we look for distractors. Cigarettes, alcohol, stronger drugs. And then party. And we don't think, we just numbed down, we numbed out and someone's actually manipulating us through our ego, or through their ego. Because we want acceptance. Now I was talking to my wife again. My you guys have to meet my wife. She's phenomenal. She says to me, she heard a talk somewhere where the guys were talking about psychedelics, mushrooms, and it's like wanting to climb a mountain. You can take your psychedelic and get to the top on a cable car. But then you'll always want to just take the cable car and get lazy. But you've got to do the work and walk the mountain. It's a big mountain. It could be a Kilimanjaro, it could be an Everest, it could be a K2. But you've got to walk the mountain because that's your earthly soul experience. And we all have a yearning deep within us to reach the divine. But the earth experience is two diamonds. And as soon as you take those two diamonds, you push them through each other, you get what is called the Merkaba on the tetrahedrons. And from there you get 64 tetrahedrons, you get flower of life. It actually gets... In January or February, I spoke to Shay Douglas from Earth Heroes TV. And he looked at me and says, what appeals to me is the sacred geometry of this diamond. And I stared at him and I said, what is sacred geometry? I don't say that. But since then till now, I've been trying to work out a talk just on sacred geometry. But for today, I just want us to realize that it's not what we're thinking, it's how we're thinking. And we've got to think in 3 dimensions. We've got to think in synergy. We've got to think in synthesis. We've got to see how the upstream affects the downstream of our lives. And yeah, the diamond, it's not a wow, it's a phenomenal. I think personally it's breakthrough. And when it goes into 4 diamonds, you can actually see that the ego down here is like someone else's ego, so I'm not accountable. So let's take back accountability into these 2 diamonds. Be human. Enjoy the human experience with the striving to reach the divine, which is the top diamond, which is consciousness, which is energy. And it's divine consciousness, it's divine energy, it's divine vibration, divine frequency. And I believe nature has all of that. Just we've separated ourselves so badly and kept ourselves in this state of numbness. Because we've actually decided who should lead. And I'm the guy who says, why don't you just lead your own life? So yeah. For a society post-2020, let's set a cornerstone to transform how we think. And with that, yeah, we can establish a new earth. Let's make the cornerstone a diamond. Blessings for the day.